Well, welcome back to Dicing with Death. Ryan, are you there? No? There we go.
I'm there.
There we are. So,
Yeah.
we enter the sewers. Mm, they are dark. The only source of light is your lantern and the
Yeah.
beam coming down above you from the surface above. And occasionally, as you look down, you see like little light spots where there must be other manholes or sewer grates above.
Okay. Um. So I look around. How many different ways does I guess what am I standing in first of all? The base of
You are
the
standing on a
ladder.
small, um, 3 by 3 little square of safety that is brought in from the sewer. So there's like a turnout on a road or a little mini closet with no door.
Mm-hmm.
It just comes down on the side. So you step out of this little space into the main sewer line, and there's a walkway along the edge that you are on, and no
Mm-hmm.
walkway on the other side. And in the middle is mostly stagnant water that reeks of sulfur and ammonia and, you know,
All right. I pull
human
out
waste.
a cloth handkerchief and fasten it around my mouth. I have it on my character sheet. I bought a square yard of cloth because I thought it might come in handy.
Perfect.
It's probably just a plain white handkerchief, but
Yeah.
all right. And I look up and down. Do I see any other like diverging paths
Um,
along the sewer, or does it just look like it runs one
well, it's
direction?
pretty dark, so you can't see anything.
Okay, yeah.
Look at
My
the.
my hooded lantern, it sheds light in 360 degrees. I think I've got a shutter that either opens it or opens it for the entire
Well,
360, or turns it off, and it probably just sheds dim light.
hmm.
Um, 30-foot radius in all
Okay.
directions, so not that much.
No, so you
I got it
can't
on
really see
sort
any
of hanging
other
it.
deviants.
Yeah.
It just looks to be pretty straight.
I'll take just a minute to sort of inspect the surroundings for maybe signs of wear, if I like can see any muddy footprints heading off in either direction, any obvious preferential use of one direction or the other.
Give me a perception check.
Yeah. 25.
Okay. You look at the water, which is mostly stagnant, but you can detect on the sides kind of flow marks. So you understand that the sewage would normally flow to the right. It's just at a very low level right now.
Uh-huh.
Um, you don't see
Um,
too many other
any,
marks. Looking around, you
any
do
signs
see
of
some
foot
rat
traffic?
poo,
Okay.
um, and you see the occasional like bones of some small animal that was
Oh my
eaten down
goodness.
here.
Lauren, I did not realize. Is that Lauren behind you?
That's Lauren behind me. Why?
I don't know. You got all this spooky mood describing the bones of a small animal, and then like from she's concealed by your chair, and I just see
Oh.
movement of like her like, rooting around on the ground there.
Awesome. Perfect.
Anyways, freaked me out. I was like, rats! The rats!
They're they're here. Oh my god, I saw a huge rat like 2 days ago. It was huge and it was crawling
get
around the outside of my
get your
house.
wakizashi ready.
No, it was actually like the body was about yay big, and the tail would bring it out to about here.
That's
And it
terrifying.
was like just scurrying along the outside rim of the house. It was
Okay,
weird.
that's pretty awful. So I guess if I don't see any footprints or anything, I just pick a direction. I guess I'll head upstream
Okay.
and see what I see. I
You
got
start
yeah.
walking upstream, um, and you hear the chirping of lots and lots of rats. But as you walk, your light mostly keeps them at bay, and they
Can
try
I
and
see
flee
any
from
rats,
it.
or do I just hear them?
You mostly hear them, and then at one point you like come across another one of those little inlets, and
Mm-hmm.
as you do so, you look to your left and you see there's a whole bunch of rats, and they scurry to get out of the way. Some of them fall into the water, some of them like scurry around the edge. A few of them crawl in between some cracks, but they run from your light.
Okay.
This other little inlet does not have a ladder, and you look up, and your light as like you raise your light as high as you can to get a good view, and you see that there is a grate over it, but there's
Mm-hmm.
something on top of the grate that is blocking light from coming in. There's
Okay.
it looks like some sort of some sort of wood boards. Yeah.
Okay. So I look. It's just a little like 3x3.
Hmm. There's no ladder here, though.
Yeah. Okay. I'll inspect the little enclave quickly, like over a minute or so. Just poking my light around in there, see if I can spot
Give me another perception check.
any hidden. I don't know, any like bricks that look out of place or anything in the floor. Was there once a ladder here? Did
Mm,
it? Did it?
it
Ever
doesn't. I
continue
mean, if
down
there,
deeper? Critical one. So nope, 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 nope.
I mean, it does. Nothing looks interesting to you. It just looks like a stone wall with a
Yeah,
flat
I'll walk
floor.
a little further in this direction. Actually, I'm probably willing to walk up to, maybe in like half hour, 45 minutes in this direction.
Okay.
If it seems like more of the same, let me know if there are any like splits off the path or if
No,
any
you head another actually
seem interesting.
10 feet down the river of sewage. When you come to a set of iron bars, they don't go all the way across the sewer, but they do block the road, and they go about halfway out in the sewer. You notice on the other side, the road, if you can call it the road, the little path that you're walking on does continue, but these bars block it. You'd actually have to wade out into the sewage and then come back around on the other side.
Hmm. Scratching my chin, I quickly turn and start moving the other direction. Probably
Okay.
at a brisker pace. My second time passed.
All right, you
And
go
then
all the way
slowly
back to the same
investigate
section
there.
where you came in.
Mhm.
And at that point, I guess I'll make your perception checks for you.
Yeah, perception is 12.
Okay.
And you should have my whole character sheet. Were you
Yeah.
able to read that just fine?
Yes, everything has come in nice and dandy. You start walking back, and you get just a little bit past the area that you came in.
Yeah. So I start to
When
slow down once I'm covering new ground and I'm investigating as I go. Yeah.
when you notice that the water gets significantly deeper, and you can tell because it's kind of still in all the other areas, and there's the occasional like patch of dirt or land or something that's been plopped down in there, and then you come to an area where the surface of the water is actually rippling and moving.
How far out into this? I guess
You're 30
how
feet.
long is?
Yeah, you're 30 feet past the area that you came down, and you've just now approached the section where you see the rippling depth. And
Yeah. How
looking
far
out, it
out
continues
into the
another
river is it? Into the shit river.
the entire section. It's just like all of a sudden, if the base of the sewage is here, or the base of the sewer is here, then it looks like it just drops.
Okay, so the floor is deeper.
Yeah,
Okay.
it looks like the floor is significantly deeper here.
Okay, I'll keep walking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
Noted. That doesn't immediately seem useful to me.
give me an intelligence check.
That I can do. 34.
The water is rippling and moving, but it's not being pulled in any direction.
So it
And
sounded
while you
to me
hear
like there was like
dripping, there's no dripping actually on the surface of the water. There's something off. The water should be
what does the
still.
path do? What does the path do? in front of
It
me?
just continues straight along the side.
So it sounded to me like you were trying to describe like a ledge underwater. And does that make sense? And so like all of a sudden it goes from being like 2 inches deep to being. Well, then it should just be like a waterfall. Okay, so I'm starting to
Hold
get
on.
at this.
So this is the head-on view of the sewer, basically. You've got a little ledge on the side with a section below, right where the sewage goes. And over here beside it, which I'm about to draw, is what it appears has happened now. Something like this. But the water
Yeah.
level is at the same height.
And it's not. There's not a waterfall.
There's not a waterfall, no.
So there's some.
But that you
How
do
far-
see a lot
okay,
of
so
movement on the surface of the
How
water.
far is the surface of the water from the path?
I mean, it like 6 inches below the path.
Oh, I've got like 7 feet of pole. I'm gonna just stick the butt end of my quarterstaff down into the water depth, right before it changes.
Okay, right before it
before-
changes,
Right before the rippling. So it should just be like a.
it just goes gink after like a quarter of an inch or an eighth of an inch.
And then right after, I try and find the bottom.
It sinks down, and all of a sudden something grabs hold of the other end and yanks it. What do you do? Do you
Great.
try
I
and stay on
I
the
try
ledge, or you
and
can try and hold on to your staff?
I'm gonna try and fight my staff free.
Okay, give me a.
Am I just gonna have to erase all of my equipment as I get pulled into the sewer? All right.
We're gonna find out. Give
What's
me an opposed strength check, except with disadvantage because you're surprised.
you're implementing disadvantage? What
Dun
edition
dun
is this?
dun.
What is this? Oh God. R2D20 KL1 plus 9. Ugh. So I would have been fine, but I was surprised.
Yep.
So it's pointy end first. Be at the edge is a lit lantern. At the end on a short chain is a
Mhm.
lit lantern. So I'm okay. It's sliding
The
out of
the
my
stick
finger.
is gets ripped out of your hand with great surprise.
Mm-hmm.
And it waves around on the top and kind of starts thrashing back and forth, and then kind of sinks and stops, like drops to the ground and leans against the side. The lantern is barely hovering above the water. It
I
looks
try
like
and
it's at
reach
about a
down and
30-degree
grab it. You said
angle.
it's only like 6 inches, right?
Oh no no, this is. I mean, if the lantern is barely hanging, this must be about 4 feet deep. Because the staff is at an angle now, and the
Okay.
lantern's hanging down.
Is it right next to me, or is it down? Did it get pulled towards the center of the stream?
It is resting against the centerpiece of the river, like that.
I try and pull. Get my hands on my lantern.
I mean, like it's what is this
Oh.
distance?
Okay, so it's like 5 feet out.
It's like 10 feet out. Well, the sewer's not 20 feet wide. This is not to scale. All of
Mm-hmm.
these distances should be half. This is like a 2.5 foot ledge. So so it's about 5 feet out.
Is the lantern still lit?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I light a torch while I'm thinking.
Okay.
Um,
You light a torch and you see something as you bring it up. There's something that kind of dips below the surface. You didn't get a good look at it, but there's something in the water.
and my quarterstaff is just sitting there, stuck in the mud or something.
It's something. You don't know what the base is like, but it seems to be resting against the wall and not moving.
Um, I walk a little along the path past the turbulent area,
Mm-hmm.
and see the water is just too thick to see anything in.
Yeah. Well, it's murky, and the light is so direct above it that a lot of it just reflects back off towards you. You get a good reflection of yourself in the water.
Can I find a small stone to toss in? If not, I have my own crap.
I'm sorry, a small what?
A small stone or pebble or like piece of brick on the ground.
You find
next
a
to me.
rat skull.
Okay, I toss a rat skull into the water past. I guess like where, or in the same line that my staff disappeared in. If that makes sense.
Okay. It makes a small splash.
It doesn't suck it in.
Nope. I mean, it makes a small splash, floats for a little while, and do bones float or sink? They should
Bones
sink,
should
right?
probably float, depending on how. If they're like fresh, if it's like a rat head, it might sink. But dried bone will float.
Yeah. So then the
Um,
skull just kind of floats around on the surface for a little while.
Okay, so I grumble to myself, glad I got my big ass swamp boots, and I wade in. I don't guess it's not wading in. I walk in to the shallow part before the weird turbulence crap.
Okay. I mean, the shallow part is like half an inch. You know, it's
Yeah, so I just step down. I mean, I got big leather boots. I'm fine. I walk out towards where my staff is, and I guess I look down at it. How many feet? You said just a few feet are exposed, or is it just the lantern that's
the
exposed?
lantern is hanging like an inch above the water, so the lantern and the stick.
I reach out and just clench my fist hesitantly around the end of the staff. Does that make
Okay.
sense? So I've just like got a grip,
Yeah.
and I try to like give it a tug to see if it'll budge.
It slides right out. You now have your staff and
I
the
pull
lantern
it
back.
out. Maybe a little wetter, a little stinkier.
Yeah, there's
I put
stuff
my
on there
torch-
that you don't want to be handling.
Yeah, that's right. I hold just the end and I walk back out to the side. I gingerly clean it off with a few pieces of my fabric. Take another little handkerchief and douse it with a small bit of my moonshine alcohol, and use that to wipe my hands and the bits of the staff that I'm planning on touching clean as best I can. Hope I don't get any diseases. I'm gonna say most of my handkerchiefs are probably a square yard. That's actually a square yard of fabric is actually a lot. I probably got dozens of handkerchiefs like a crazy person.
Yeah, I mean that's
I'm
3x3. That's a big section.
I'm the crazy person with just pockets stuffed full of handkerchiefs. So let's say that I used like does a quarter of a square yard sound reasonable? Sure. I'll say I'm down to 0.75 square yards.
Quarter of a square yard is 1.5 feet by 1.5 feet. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To clean up a bunch of to clean up all that shit, and then go over it again with Anyways, okay. So I'm actually gonna walk back out and wade back out into the shallow section. So probably it comes up like a little past my ankles. It's gonna fuck up my boots, but other than that, I should be fine.
Wait, you're walking into the shallow section?
Isn't that how I got my staff?
Yeah, but I mean it's half an inch. It's not gonna fuck up anything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. And then I want to poke my staff vertically over, like in the air above, where the water gets weird. Pointy end first, butt first.
So you stab it back
No,
down.
I'm not stabbing. I'm like in the air above.
Oh, not vertically, horizontally. You mean?
Yeah, horizontally. Sorry.
Okay.
And just wave it around.
It waves around. The lantern is like in your face because that's on the non-pointy
I
end.
mean, it's long. The lantern's like over my shoulder.
Oh, okay. So lantern's over your shoulder, bumping against the side of the wall because you're on this narrow platform. So you managed to work it.
I'm standing in the water.
Oh, that's right. You're standing here. Yeah.
Yes.
Gotcha.
But I'm not. Yeah.
No problems. And you wave it around, and everything seems to be fine. And actually, the water, you notice the ripples slow to a stop after a few moments. Not necessarily in reaction, but you're glancing at the water surface, and it looks like the ripples have slowed, and they're slowing. And pretty much soon the water is just standing still.
I sort of circle the area, so I walk back out into the path. Actually, I walk all the way to the far wall first that I hadn't approached yet, and inspect the wall around where this change was. See if I can see any. This seems supernatural to me. I'm trying to like investigate for any source of, any like magical runes or
No.
cursed voodoo
No.
blood splashes.
No. It's all
Chickens
pretty
that were
normal.
used in some dark rituals. All pretty normal.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna walk a little ways past this section. Just
On the ledge?
while I walk. Yeah, walk back to the ledge.
Okay.
Continue walking and pondering.
You walk along the ledge,
Probably not more than a few
and
minutes.
another 10 feet down, you see a large, a second tunnel kind of coming in perpendicular to this one. It's not quite as big as this tunnel, and it looks like there's more, like it actually is a more active stream with stuff kind of coming in. Not a lot, just a little bit, which is creating a little bit of ripple, but not so far back to where you were before.
I peek around the corner and throw my light down there. It extends 30
It
feet.
comes on the left side. So if you're walking down the right side of the sewer, it's coming in from the left side. So you couldn't actually make it there, and there's no ledge on either end. But you can hold your light out and look down, and it's just another sewer. It seems to have a little bit more flow to it. Excuse me, a little more flow to it.
All right. I keep walking a little ways farther.
Okay. You keep walking down still,
I guess I walk maybe a few minutes, and then
you come to another one of those ladder sides on the right side, and this one actually has light coming out of it and shining down.
I walk back, scratching my clean-shaven chin. Think twice of it because I've got sewage all over my hands and grumble, grumble, grumble. But I guess I'm used to the swamp, so
So you walk back towards the direction you
yeah, I
came.
walk back to that peculiar.
Okay, well, the area is still that deep. The depth never stopped.
Yeah, I can. Okay,
Okay.
so I'm gonna actually walk out on the other side of the ripples. Use it prodding the. I guess I don't poke the ripples, but I stand on the ledge just past where that line is,
Mm-hmm.
right? The line of ripples, or where it was. Is it still there?
Yeah, that section is still.
Looking funny.
No, the ripples have slowed to a stop. The surface is still, but you can find the spot where the change is.
How can I find the spot if it's still?
Because on the other side, occasionally there will be like land and shit that sticks up that is not floating. Like there's an area where it's water and other things, and all of a sudden it's pure water.
So somehow things are getting filtered out at that spot, like a
It's
grate.
just deeper, and like the floor is uneven. It looks like the floor of the sewer, and on the higher area, the water level is so low that it doesn't even cover the entire floor sometimes. Whereas on the deep side, the water is high enough that nothing ever sticks out of it.
So it's constantly deeper after this point.
Yeah,
Why was it rippling at me when I first walked by and not?
yeah. Those are questions.
And it stays pretty deep going
Mhm.
past this point, right? So I can no longer walk across it.
Right.
And there's no way to walk on the far side.
Where the other tunnel came in?
So as I'm standing, like, there's a walkway on this side, but none on the far side.
Okay, hold on.
Right?
Let's use maps because I'm
Yeah, I
very
can-
confused here. Okay, and this is going to be the top-down view. You have a ledge that just runs down the side. Like that. So where
Yeah.
are you
So-
going?
I'm asking if there's any way. Is it sloped? Is there any way to walk on the far side?
This section, the section where the ground is higher, you
Yeah.
can walk along the far side in the sewer area. There's no ridge, but it's only half an inch deep at most. So
Yeah.
you can just
What about
trudge through
what
it.
about after the drop?
No, after the drop, there's
It's
only
just
one
straight
side
water
you can walk
all
on.
the way to the far edge.
Yeah.
All right, I'm intrigued, but getting frustrated. So I turn and I go towards where that gate was, and I'm just gonna walk around the gate.
Yeah.
Past it.
You head back the other way, eventually getting to the gate, and just kind of walk around the edge of it. No problem.
and I keep walking past the gate.
All right, you walk past the gate. Another
I have okay.
40
I have 6 hours of light for this vial in my thing. So
yeah, you walk another 40
track of
feet,
time, but
and come to what looks like it was going to be one of those side alcoves, but was never finished. Looking up, you can see that the ceiling is still just dirt and stone or whatever. Stone on the sides, kind of dirt on the top a little bit, and that there's like starting to make the alcove down below, but it stopped and someone else carved down further. So instead of being a 3x3, it's a 3x7, and then the back last 4 feet of it actually go in deeper. So
I stick my light on a stick down that little alcove and see.
Yeah. To be
If I
a
can see
top-down
anything.
perspective of this would be here, here, and then
But it's just a rough
yeah,
dirt
something like
passage.
that. I don't know if you can see what I just drew.
Top down. So it's actually a room.
Yeah, it's kind of like a little alcove room. There's no
big-
wall. There's no wall
it-
between that and the sewer, but it is like a big niche way back where a person could sit on dry land happily.
I mean, now that the room is illuminated, do I see any objects or?
Yes, you do. You see a body slumped over.
I
in
look
that
back
area.
behind me really quick to just paranoid, make sure I'm not being followed.
No, nothing.
Okay, so I'll step in and take a look at the body.
Okay. As you walk across a little bit closer towards it, your light catches something glimmering in the distance, and what looks to at first have been some sort of gator starts to stand up, its face coming up in the light until it's on
Do I
two
see any other
legs.
movement in the room?
No, it's
Does it look
hunched over,
Does it look roughly human sized?
a little bigger than a person.
All right. I don't even. Okay, yeah. I start casting a spell. I start casting sleep.
Okay,
So I immediately, yeah. So I'm like,
roll
holy fuck.
for
This is
initiative.
I probably practiced this on alligators back in Swampside,
hmm
but I don't know if I've ever had to use it on a humanoid before.
Roll,
Maybe. Well, okay. Well,
roll for initiative.
Oh, it's not a D20 in this edition. It's just a D10
Plus
plus the
spell
spell casting modifier. So much more to look up. All right. Sleep. Casting time 1. So D20 plus 1. Oh, no. No, not okay. All right.
Rip.
This is not okay with. So what is this? What is this? Actually, let's verify that he didn't roll worse than that.
It stands there, takes a few steps closer towards you,
So
comes into the
this
light.
is like a very small enclosed space, isn't it?
No, I mean it's the same ceiling height. Someone's carved this out, and then it just kind of leads back into that same sewer area. So basically, the sewer has a section that sticks or that opens up a little bit on the side and then continues normally.
So
It looks
how
like
big-
someone has come down here and carved out a little niche in the wall where
And how far away is the lizard man or whatever this thing is?
he is at the very edge of your light radius. He's 30 feet
So
from
he's
you.
30 feet away.
Yeah, so he's just beyond the ledge where the body is, and you haven't quite gotten to it yet when this is going down. He steps forward. It steps forward a little bit, and you see green scales running down over its whole body. It's hunched over and leaning towards you, and you see a crude spear coming out from its side, holding it in its hand. It's just a sharpened dowel, basically. So not a full, kind of like how yours is, actually.
Yeah.
Um,
Mine's more sharpened so that I can use it as a lamp stand. But
Yeah. And it
Could be
steps
both.
out and breathes and doesn't actually do anything
okay,
right
Yeah,
away.
I'm clearly startled. I'm actually going to. So it stays about 30 feet away from me.
Yeah.
Was it right next to the body?
No, it's a little bit. You're almost equidistant from the body. It's a little bit closer.
All right, I'm actually going to walk towards it. I will stop at the body, and I just want to make sure there's no more like it behind it. Like, I
Are
wanna
you still
shed
casting
my
sleep, or have you canceled the spell?
I'm still, yeah, I'm still incanting the words. I'm going for my pouch of rose petals, and I'm
Okay.
taking steps towards it. I just want to extend my light radius to make sure there's no more targets, basically,
The light.
as I'm casting my sheet spell. Because in
It's
second
hunched
edition,
over with the long tail, so from nose to tail, even while standing up, it's still like 5 feet. So you have to get quite a bit closer to it than you might have liked, but you get
I'm happy
5.
to get right up in its grill and cast the spell. I guess. I mean, I won't go into melee range, but
Okay.
so basically, I want to walk to the body, walk 15 feet forward to the body. In second edition rounds, they just sort of go off, right? Like it's like you move,
Right.
act while everything's sort of happening simultaneously.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm saying the words and sprinkling the rose petals.
Yeah, so you approach the body, and as you get closer, you see it as just one of these things by itself, and your spell goes off. You don't close to melee range, right? You stay.
No,
like
I stay.
15
I
feet
guess I
away.
go to the body, so I'm about 15 feet.
It's about 10 feet from. I guess the body's on the inside, so you have to get about 10 feet away from it to get to the body. I don't know if you
Right.
want to be that close to it, though.
I'm fine. I'm assuming it's about to fall asleep, but I guess we'll find out. It gets a saving throw, right?
It gets a saving throw.
So wait, hold on. Saving throw, none. No save. It's by hit dice.
Really?
I believe so. Let's read the description. But number of creatures, all creatures can be. I don't. You can check the actual books, but I'm pretty sure.
Save none. What the fuck?
Yeah. But it's only 2d4
Hit dice.
hit dice.
All right, give me your 2d4.
Ooh, 3. Presumably it goes down. And let's go. I guess it roll. Let's roll our first wild surge. Actually,
Oh yeah. Well, give me a d20 to see.
yeah. I would need to get up that book just a second. Oh. It's just a straight d20 slash.
Don't roll a 20.
2.
Okay.
Is it 20 at level 1?
Yeah.
2 is that's low is bad, isn't it?
That means you cast it as if you were 1 level lower, but that doesn't actually affect this spell, other than
It affects the duration, but you can't cast it at 0th level.
right. So
It's not like it fizzles.
right.
So it just does the minimum duration, which is 5 rounds.
The creature wavers in front of you and collapses to the ground.
All right. I make quick work. I quickly I start inspecting the body of the dead guy. It's a human.
It is a human. He
So I'm gonna
has
spend like 1 minute on the guy, 1 minute on the creature, and then decide from there.
the human has a hole through his belly that looks like he was stabbed with a spear.
Perhaps the same spear.
Maybe
or one just like it.
one just like it. Yeah. He has no backpack and no pouches and no gear, just his clothing. His face is, he's got a slightly bigger nose. He's got an earring in one ear that is still intact. It looks like a
I will
brass or
remove
something.
that earring if I can.
Okay.
Is
Yeah, not a
that
problem.
first round. Okay, and then the second round, I'm going to go over to the body of the creature and try and figure out what it was.
Laying
Laying next to it
on the ground, nose to tail, it's about 9 feet long.
So I've probably have I seen lizard men, or at least I've heard rumors of them.
You've heard rumors of them.
Do they interact
you've
with
seen
civilized society, or are they?
Some? No, God, no. These lizard men are that you can't communicate with them. Like they lack the physical ability to speak common. Like their vocal cords can't produce your sounds, and your vocal cords can't produce their sounds. The only possible way to interact with them or communicate with them is through magic.
Okay, but I'm pretty sure this is a lizard man.
It looks like a lizard man, but it looks a little bit different as well. The lizard men that you're used to seeing have better weapons, things that they've stolen. They have some semblance of clothing. They typically have like beads or necklaces with bones and teeth on them.
Any ornaments that I could recognize him by?
This is a fully naked lizard man. His body has scars and signs of battle on him, and he actually looks maybe 20% bigger and more muscular than the lizard men you're used to seeing in the swamp.
I am used to seeing enough that I would know that. It's not...
Yeah, this is like... If he were a lizard man, he'd be a big, buff lizard man. Like, an unusually strong one.
So can we... I don't think I'm going to do it, but can we establish now how trying to insta-kill sleeping people works?
If
now
you
that
have...
I've got this, I'm guessing... I mean, I've got like a razor blade, I've got a knife. But
if someone is sleeping, you can just kill them.
Really? I'm assuming that
permitting
won't work on...
size allows. Like, for example, an ogre, you probably just couldn't kill because they have really thick hide. Something with a thin hide, like a human or any of your basic creatures, not a problem. Just slit the throat, blood squirts everywhere, they die. They might make noises. I'll give them like a saving throw versus death, and if they pass, they manage to scream or yell out
Does this apply
or
to
do
PCs
something.
as well?
Yes.
That's gnarly.
Yeah.
I'm assuming the lizard man, though, I couldn't just slit his throat, right? He's got natural
Probably
hide.
not. He's got thick hide. You could try.
No, I was just sort of curious how that works.
For larger
But I will
creatures,
probably be... When I'm interacting with humans and things don't go well, my go-to response might be just be to put them to sleep and slit their throats.
Yeah.
So I turn tail and leave. I go back the way I came in. I think for a set, yeah, I just split.
Okay. You split and head back to the way you came.
Does it look like the passage went further down?
Yeah, it definitely continues.
Okay.
You split, head back down the way that you came, and find your ladder. And as you find your ladder, you also see, coming from the direction where the water gets deeper, you see a steel spearhead glinting in the light. It's kind of in the middle. What?
Am I at the ladder?
You're at the ladder, and you see it glinting in the light down ahead.
I assume there's someone holding that spear.
You can't tell. Any person that might be there is out of light range. You can just barely see the spear on the floor of the sewer.
So I hold my...
Like there.
I hold the light in my hand and climb halfway up the ladder.
Okay.
Waiting. I keep but I'm like sort of half looking back behind me to see if this. Yeah.
Nothing follows you.
I pause. How many minutes has it been since I slept the lizard man?
Probably 3.
Okay, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna climb back down the ladder and take a few steps towards the glint on the ground.
Okay. As you get down to the base of the ladder, the thing moves out towards you. Give me an initiative roll.
Okay. All right. Shit. It actually was a thing.
Yeah.
I am. I guess I'll just do weapons. Actually, let me check what. The Hall's Reckless Dreamer casting time 5. Yeah, I'm just gonna do my initiative
Okay.
of 3 and try and flee 1. So I probably just am I'm still probably on the ladder.
Yeah, you're
And
about
I-
to put your foot down, and the thing starts shifting towards you, and you just climb.
Yeah. Can I get a sideways glance at what it is that's charging
It's
me?
another lizard man. It's
Okay.
also very muscular.
All right, but I assume I can get climb the 30 feet up the ladder.
Yeah, you get out,
And
no
leap out into
problem.
the street. When
The
I does it look like it's coming up me up the ladder? Coming after
No.
me up the ladder?
No. As you you
still-
climb, and as you look back down, you see it standing down below, looking at you for a moment, and then it turns and walks back into the darkness.
All right, so I resurface
You make it out
into
back
the
into the
daylight.
town, and Cookie is standing there, waiting for you.
Whew. I kick the grate back over the top of the sewer and sort of sit on the street to catch my breath.
She looks you up and down.
I pull the earring out of my pocket and show it to her.
It's Chase's. Did you find him?
I found his remains. May he rest in peace.
She looks
And
sad
also-
and misty for a moment.
I also found that which killed him.
Did you kill it?
Whew. No, I merely knocked the beast out and ran for my life. The 7-foot tall, scaled lizard man living in the sewers beneath your city.
Oh my word.
There are at least
Well-
2 still alive. I could not slay them all. I'm afraid I must recruit mercenaries to help aid me in this endeavor. My wish
Oh.
alone is not enough, and I get to my feet.
She gives you a big hug and says, "Or we could just leave together. We could leave this wretched place. We could helm to Elmstead. It's far away from swamps and lizard men."
Elmstead. What is? Have I heard of Elmstead? I haven't even.
It is a very large city to the south of Marmon. It is like the capital of the swamp side area. Like, not swamp side, but of the area of the Devouring Marsh section. Like, this is all kind of loosely aligned with one regulating government. A kingdom, I guess, is the proper term for this. But it's all very loosely affiliated. Say there's a lot of states' rights.
Are you
A lot of
leaving for
Federalists.
Elmstead?
Well, haven't got a penny to my name, but you could get us there.
I could. But I will need several days to wrap up my affairs here.
Well, if you need a place to stay, we can just send G-Tech off in the streets and he can sleep out there.
I'm not sure if that will... I have some errands to run. You can hang on to that memento, I say, of the earring.
She drops it into the sewer.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I believe the lizard men took all the real valuables.
Well, are you going to go
I
back and
suppose-
get them? She says, batting her eyes at you.
I'll need to think on that. And I start walking down the street. Do I know this town at all?
No, this is your first time in it.
What color was Cookie's hair, by the way?
Long blonde hair with just a hint of browns and reds.
Cookie. All right, I am going to try to find. Do I know if like mercenaries are a thing in this?
Oh yeah,
day and age?
mercenaries
Like,
are a
if
big
I'm like,
thing.
if I'm like, here's 5, 10 gold, you give me your sword for the day.
Yeah, that's the thing.
All right. Would I know where to pick one up? I mean, I
Usually they hang out in taverns and bars
yeah.
and common
Okay.
rooms of inns. Like
So I'm gonna
that's a
actually.
go-to
I'll
place.
head. Oh fuck. Let's hope that I didn't piss off. What's his name too much?
G-Tech?
G-Tech. Let's. I don't need G-Tech. I probably need Daikon or whatever his name was.
Digon.
Daigon. All right.
Which is a
So I'm
much
gonna.
better name than I have expected it would be.
Yeah.
I certainly didn't take
So
it from the
I'm
word
gonna.
diagonal because it was in the player's handbook right next to me.
All right. So I will return to the Goofy Dog.
Okay.
And yeah, I guess it's been a few. I smell a little bit, but not all that bad, right? I didn't get soaked.
You didn't get
And
soaked.
I
Your
and I
staff is
used my
gross.
moonshine. I mean, but now it probably smells more like alcohol than a
Probably.
nice mix of alcohol and sewage.
Yeah. All right.
And my boots are a little dirty.
Okay.
So I don't smell great, but you know what? I'm picking up mercenaries, not hot chicks. So I'm gonna go. So what's the Goofy Dog like a little later in the afternoon?
It is a kind of exactly the place that you want to be, actually. You see a lot of people with swords and chainmail and bows, a couple guys with spears, a lot of soldier types hanging around here. You actually even spot a wizard over in one corner talking with a man in armor. He's got
How
like
can I tell
a
he's a
breastplate
wizard?
because he's wearing long flowing robes and he's got like a staff with a crystal on the top of it.
Excuse me, sir. I'll have you know that I am a bona fide wizard and I am wearing no such robes.
But who
My
else
staff
would
has
wear
no
that other than someone
ball.
trying to dress as a wizard? He might not be a wizard, but he certainly looks like a wizard.
Yeah. No, he certainly catches my eye.
Yeah.
I'm gonna. Do I see Dagon around at all?
Oh yeah, Digon is chatting with a half-orc who's leaning against one side of the bar. Digon's leaning against the other side, and they seem to be having a good old conversation.
Do I see G-Tech hanging around?
Yes, G-Tech, after a moment of like trying to look for him, you spot him on the other side of the half-orc trying to listen in on the conversation.
All right. I'm probably a little bit intimidated by Dagon. Let's be honest. I may be a little bit free-spirited, but I'm not stupid. I know he could kick my ass if I got on his wrong side. So I'm gonna steer clear of him for now, and I'm gonna see if I can pull G-Tech aside.
Okay. So you you got to approach the conversation.
Yeah, I approached the
there.
conversation, and I'll give G-Tech. I'll sit on the chair on the other side of G-Tech
Okay.
and sort of lean in close to like have a private conversation with him.
As you do,
If I
you
can get an
notice
order, yeah.
Digon sees you coming and like nudges or like uses his fist to bump G-Tech. And G-Tech picks up and looks around the room like really obviously and then spots you and glares and comes to meet you halfway across the room.
Oh, G-Tech, my boy. Have I got a job for you?
Yeah, I don't know if I want to take your job. Thought you were just looking for information. Here you are hitting on my sister?
Come, let's have a seat. I'll buy you a drink. Is there a free table?
Yeah, the bar is not that heavily crowded right now.
All right. I sit down at the table and take a sip of my own moonshine and hand it over to G-Tech on the sly. So now, did you know that there are bona fide lizard men terrorizing the sewers beneath our feet?
What do you mean, lizard man? I know there's something down there. I told you that this morning.
Lizards. Lizard men. I seen them with my own eyes.
Like from the swamp?
Big bad ones, too. And scarred. They look like they've been living and fighting and surviving down there for a long time. How did you not know
He pulls
this?
the cap off of his head and like rings it in his hand and goes, "Oh my. You know, I always was hoping there would be an adventure in my life someday. I never thought it would be right here in my own house, my own home."
I tuck the moonshine out of Digon's sight and continue chatting with the boy. Adventure. I was hoping you could, set me up with some men at arms, swords for hire. This seems like the right establishment.
You got one right here, right in front of you, mister.
Can you? I look him up and I don't see a sword at your side.
I can get one.
And that leather will do you no good against
I
lizard
can get a
claws.
shield too. Trust me, I've been practicing real hard. I'm ready for this, mister. We can do this. I can get a lizard man.
What would Daigon do if you got
Well,
yourself hurt or killed down there? He'd wring my neck.
he's not my father. He isn't in charge of me.
I
He
look
doesn't
over
control
to
my life.
the muscular battle scarred man.
He's
I ain't so sure about that. Doesn't look like the type you want to get on your bad side. No, I think I'm much better off just going with the professional.
Excuse me. If you do this, I am a professional.
You think your shield will be enough? How many lizard men you reckon you could take? I look the kid up and down. How tall is he?
He's like 5'10", average height for a human male.
How's his arm look?
He's a strong guy. As I said, he's got like a slender frame, but he's still got some meat on him. In game turns, he's got at least 13 strength and less than 17, somewhere between 13 and 17. I'll give you a very broad look at it.
I say, very well, and I lean in, sort of bringing the volume down a little bit as if I'm letting him in on a secret. The only artifact I'm truly interested in is a stolen spellbook that the lizard men have bumbled upon. Any
Magic. Mystery.
any other loot is yours. Considering, yeah, I'm sure that will be more than enough to cover your investment in this endeavor.
Yes, sir.
And any lizard man pelts that you find are yours to keep. They make for a mighty fine satchel, if I might suggest. And I pat my alligator skin bag.
Yeah. You notice at this point, an elf in the corner takes up a flute and starts to play. But it's,
I say now, I leave at first light, so you best have your affairs in order by then.
Where are we meeting?
Be armed and armored and ready to descend into the sewers.
What?
Right here.
Right here? First light tomorrow.
Yep.
Ah, dang, he says, slapping his hands together. All right, let me go get my stuff, and I'll go.
This kid is gonna get shredded.
Let me go get my stuff, and I'll go practice. I'll warm myself up for tomorrow. And he scampers off as if, the house was on fire.
Does Daigon appear to also be the proprietor?
Yes, he does. He is the one serving people drinks. He showed up here and unlocked the door.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go see if I can get. Is there rooms in this place as well?
No, this is just a.
Oh, just a bar.
You know what? No, there are. The sign outside has like the goofy dog, but it also has a bed hanging from below it. So there are beds here.
Okay.
So it just doesn't look like it from this room.
It just doesn't look like it from this room. Okay.
Yeah. Because this looks like a big bar.
Yeah.
Room. It doesn't look like a common room. It looks like
I'm gonna step out and see if I can locate a way to purchase a room. Is that a separate thing, or is it just like you gotta be in the know to know where the bedrooms are hidden?
No, it's just a hanging thing. Presumably, it's in this building somewhere.
All right. I'll at some point. I'll just be loitering around. At some point, I'll catch Daigon's attention when he's not talking with a half orc.
Yeah, you get his attention, and he comes over to you. So, what'd you say to the little guy? You got him scurrying off faster than a rabbit.
How is he? Can he take care of himself? I don't want to get that little guy into trouble.
Well, he's gonna get in trouble one day or another, right? It's gonna happen eventually.
I said, well, all right. If you say so.
Tough world out there, kid. If you don't die one day, you're gonna die another. Might as well get the practice while you can.
It's a grim outlook. I'll be needing a room for the night. Is you have vacancy in this fine establishment?
Got a couple rooms, yeah. He looks you up and down. Though I don't usually rent out to people who aren't the traveling type. You look you look like a little bit of a homebody. I don't know if the rooms would suit you. You might want to go find a nicer place.
I look down. Oh, serious? This place will suit just fine. I mean, I've got sewage on my boots, and
Yeah. Yeah, he's looking you up and down and still is like, well, you this
I'm starting to read between the lines and say, very well, very well. Thank you for the recommendation, and I leave.
Okay.
He has to date not received any of my coin and will not be unless I receive a full apology. And I find a more low class establishment somewhere in town that will take my coin.
What do you mean? You haven't tried to give you barely tried to give him any coin. You've specifically not ordered alcohol from him and brought your own into his establishment.
I know out of character, but so I'm gonna go try. I'm gonna go find a cheap,
Okay.
cheap inn, not one that looks unsafe or in a sketchy part of town, but one that doesn't mind me smelling like sewage.
All right, you come across a place. You can read, right? Are you literate?
Yes, I have a reading writing proficiency.
Okay, that's right.
The only languages I have are common and lower common, but I have several slots, so I'm probably got a good year. I've picked up a smattering of phrases and a smattering of languages, but
Yeah, you come to a tavern that has on the outside of it. I'm sorry, not a tavern. An inn on the outside of it has 3 candles that are slightly burned. The middle one's the least burned. The 2 on the outside are more burned.
this is just a sign. It's not actual candles.
Right, right. And the words next to it say the burning candle inn, and then there's like a little bed hanging down below it on the sign.
All right, I will poke on in and see if I can book a room for the night.
Yeah, there's a dwarf who's standing on like a thing behind the counter. He sees you coming and he like claps his hands together greedily and he's like, "Ah, welcome, welcome. Would you like a room for the night?"
Yes. Road weary and ready for a bed. A clean bed, preferably.
A clean feather bed? I can get you one of those.
Sure. What'll it be? I go for my coin purse.
Is there not actually a pricing guide for this stuff? I've kind of always just ballparked it, but
I think there is. I think 5 silver is what it lists for a typical room. But it does have standards of living in the player's handbook. Or not standards of living, but qualities of...
Is it in the PHB or in the DMG?
It's in the PHB under money and equipment, daily food and lodging.
Oh, shit.
In lodging per day / per week. A common room is 5 silver. A poor room is 5 copper.
Is there anything better than a...
There is nothing better than a common room unless you rent by the... Actually, no. There's just common and poor.
Cool. Well, this would be considered a common room.
Okay, so 5 silver.
Mm-hmm.
I hand him... I actually need to hand him a gold and get change.
His eyes kind of light up at the gold, and he takes it and hands you back 5 silver coins.
All right, and I will rest up in the room, do my best to clean off my stinky boots and my staff, get it, cleaned up, polished up.
Okay.
Obviously, I would have turned the lantern off when I got back out of the sewers, so I probably only used like an hour and a half, maybe, of light.
Probably less. I would say you used a half hour of light.
Okay.
You never traveled that far. It was just kind of slow, cautious movement.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll go to
Is
sleep.
there anything you want to do, or because it's still kind of afternoon.
Okay. Yeah. So I'll probably after I'm cleaned up, I'll go buy a meal.
Alright.
Meal per day costs. Poor is 1 silver. Common is 3 silver. That's per day. So it's already half. I probably ate rations in the morning.
Yeah. So
I'll
chip in
shell out
another
one-
15 copper, and
Okay. Yeah.
yeah,
And
and
so
we'll come back for our third part of Dicing with Death in like 5 minutes. See you
Yep,
guys
sounds
on
good.
the other side.